ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I have it. I don't think so. All right, guys, welcome in. We've got a stream. We've actually got a donation here. What are the odds the Supreme Court cucks on the VRA out of spite? Dude, what even is happening? They got to do a better job with the Supreme Court rulings. I mean, can we get the Supreme Court ruling on the VRA? They're not going to have time to implement the new lines. Think about that. Even if they don't cuck out on it, you're right, they probably will cuck out. It'll probably be a 5-4. Minnesota, what happened with Minnesota? They withdrew everyone. Yeah, well, it's just emblematic of what's going on with the administration. They got to take back the narrative. Yeah, we got about 9 or 10 inches of snow. I got to specify snow because people will be stupid about it, but we got about 9, 10 inches. You know, it depends on where the bands are set up, but it wasn't expected to be that much. Newsom, yeah, Newsom was like, I got like a 970. I'm retarded just like you. That's what Newsom said in front of a black audience. And now he's trying to do damage control. He got really pissed off at Sean Hannity. Dude, what's with like these politicians swearing? Like Newsom swears at Sean Hannity in a message. It's just so cringe. Like the swearing by the politicians in these messages, like on Twitter, on X, it's just cringy. They think it makes it that sound like more powerful. It's the exact opposite. It's just pathetic when politicians swear. I just find it just is unprofessional. It just sounds like a baby to me. Islam call prayer in New York. Yeah, I mean that just shows you where that state is, where that city is in terms of their demographics. What do you expect with all this immigration? Of course, your culture is going to be replaced. Your religion's going to be replaced. They did it to themselves. This is why these people are so stupid. I mean, they're all going to have to live under Islam. They keep believing this type of ridiculous rhetoric on immigration. I mean, the people come in and they all have their little cohorts and their little people that they're loyal to, and these white liberals just get taken advantage of. That's really what it is. They get taken advantage of, and that's really the right terminology because it makes them seem stupid because they are. They're dumb and they're naive and they get taken advantage of. And they think everyone can live kumbaya. These people that come in, they all have loyalty to their own religions. They all have loyalty to their own people. There's no kumbaya. And you see them doing these calls and what I mean, it's where that's just where the immigration is in terms of these major cities. I was looking at something with Canada, and all the Canada provinces have crazy immigration numbers. Like since 2000, it's their demographics have been slashed. The white population's been slashed by 40% in these provinces. It's insane. In Canada. What time is that? Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's probably 8 o'clock Eastern. It's either 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock if I had to guess. But even if it's 8 o'clock, it'll be later because the way they do the walkout with the State of the Union is for forever. Probably start like 8:15 or 8:30 if I had to guess. But that's like the time for the most viewership because you want to get the West Coast and East Coast. Rupert Lowe. Well, they needed someone like that, especially with what happened to the reform. Yeah, I hope Rupert Lowe continues with the rhetoric, and because it looks pretty good for him just with their rhetoric, and it seems like there's a lot of people in the UK that really want that. Now it'll split a little bit with reform, but they needed something like that. They needed something like Restore. I mean, that was needed because of what happened with Farage and just the way in which he's become this normie, almost establishment type there in the UK, not pushing for the mass deportation, starting to already, yeah. So we'll see what happens with that, but they definitely needed a figure like that to rise. I mean, I don't know if he will rise, but because Reform just became this milquetoast party, apparently. It's at 9 o'clock Eastern. God, yeah, I wish it was earlier too. That's annoying. I mean, what am I gonna have to sit here and? Yeah, I'm gonna stream tomorrow, but I guess I won't start the stream until like an hour from now. If it's yeah, it doesn't really surprise me if it's 9. I just think it's a little bit late for East Coast. I mean, but they do it because it's 6 o'clock West Coast time. Yeah, the tariff paybacks are ridiculous. You know what? I'd explain it, and I was going to do a video on it. What's even the point? It's the biggest joke imaginable. You know, private citizens cannot request refunds. They bought the product. The consumer cannot request a refund on something they already bought, retroactive after they've already consumed it. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. The only refunds will go to the major corporations. What they're trying to do, the Democrats know that Trump is trying to do a rebate, and it's going to help him. So they're trying to get out in front of it and say, no, it's not a rebate. You have to refund them. We're forcing you to do it when Trump was already going to do it. The refunds don't go to private citizens. They go to giant corporations. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And that's basically the corporation saying that, hey, we actually ate the tariffs, which is also hilarious because they said that wasn't happening. They said the tariffs were going to be passed on to the consumers. A lot of these corporations, even the liberal people say, well, the corporations had to eat it. Their margins got lower. Now they want their money back. And the way that they would get their money back is because they legitimately had to pay fees to import their goods because, of course, they all make them in China. So they're the ones paying. So they say, well, that's the payment that we shouldn't have to pay. We have stockpiled $200 billion that was going to possibly go back to people in some type of rebate. The big corporations want the $200 billion back, basically, that we generated through the tariff fees. And they're trying to manipulate it and say, you need to give back to the citizens. That's not how. So a private citizen is going to sue for something they already consumed. What are you talking about? But it's like nobody even understands. How many Democrats will walk out or pull some stunt? Well, what's the dude's name? Al Smith or something? The Indian guy or whatever. He'll do something. Indian, like Native American. I swear he's a mixture of Indian and Native American. But he'll probably do something. He'll probably do something with his cane. And you might get AOC or someone. I don't know. I think a lot of those liberals have to understand it's just looked at as obnoxious. But you get a lot of brownie points, I guess, for going against Trump. They could use it maybe as fundraising, some of those senators. They say the average American tariff. Yeah, that's also wrong. That number is completely wrong. You understand? You can't aggregate 1,700 per household. No. The rich people were the ones that paid the most in tariffs. If you really think it got passed on to the consumer, normie middle class households way lower than 1,700. They say the average is 1,700. They won't tell you the really rich people make up actually most of the in terms of who's getting hit hardest if the tariff is actually being passed on to the consumer. But they average it out and say it's 1,700. No. It's a lot lower than 1,700. Yeah, the really rich people, it's probably like the millions in fees they're getting hit with in markups. So see that they say average American, that doesn't even make sense because most middle class people are not even coming. It's not even coming close to that number. It's like the really rich people pay 50% of the taxes. I think it's like 66% the top 1% pays or something like that. And they say, well, rich people don't pay taxes. How is that possible if it's 66%? 70% of the taxes are paid by the top 1%. Yet they say they don't pay taxes. Look, I understand accumulating wealth, compounding wealth is very easy under a capitalist system, but still. Yeah, that's who it is, Al Green. Because that was the last one. He did something at the last one. So that's his relevancy is whatever he's going to do. That'll be his relevancy. It'll probably be something about ICE. I'm guessing. It'll be something about ICE. They'll protest it. It'll be like, ICE is going too far. We've only imported 90 bazillion immigrants. We want to replace your culture completely, but you just deported like 1/1,000,000th of a percent of one of the immigrants, and so that's evil, and that makes you racist. If you support any white cause, you are a Nazi. We've only imported 3 gazillion people, even though the founding fathers said only white people could be citizens. We must import another 30 gazillion immigrants. You must give them aid or you're racist. That seems like a fair deal to me. Did you see that the Iran strikes were paused due to toilet issues? Is that true? Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, honestly, if they were paused, because really, you'd think they would already be happening. Trust me, I've thought the Iran strikes were coming for weeks now. So there's something that's paused, and that's known. I mean, based on their military buildup, based on how Trump negotiates and his strategy, he gives them 10 days, and then he'll strike them on day 2 or day 3 of that window to try and surprise. But he hasn't done it yet because there's probably, you're right, there's probably some delay. Because I was saying these strikes are going to happen. I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to be exaggeratory. I'm being honest. The strikes are going to happen because I can tell. But it just, there's probably delays or something. It surprises me that they haven't happened yet. Now they got this State of the Union. They're not going to want this, and they'll be delayed till the end of the week or to next week with the State of the Union now. Do you think the tariff inflation is already baked in and will only decrease? We've had the tariffs for a year and they've gotten lower. The tariff inflation is done. Whatever the tariff inflation is, it's over. It's not only baked in. This is what it is. We've had the tariffs for a year. Yeah, there's a lag when you install tariffs. It takes months to see if there's inflation that comes of it. But it's not going to affect it. It's because we've had the tariffs now for a year. Whatever inflation we had, it's come and gone. And it was minute. If a girl likes your stories and you've been talking a lot in person and hugging, I don't know, man. I mean, probably. Do you think the U.S. and Mexico are going to war with the cartel, or was that just a one-time? No, Trump wants expanded strikes in Mexico. Yeah, I was reading about that situation. It's a serious power vacuum in Mexico, and I'll say that we'll see how it develops, but there's going to be some strikes from Trump probably after the midterms on Mexico and the cartels. You really got to get rid of the cartels. That's it. Mexico as a country is a failed state until the cartels are removed. I mean, isn't it that simple? These people that are angry, I don't even get what they're angry about. Mexico is a failed state. Really, I should have tweeted that out. Until the cartels are removed. It's that simple. Inflation is corporate greed making an excuse to raise prices. Well, it's just money printing. They're going to be money printing, I think, honestly, because with this new Fed chairman, they want to begin the QE. Do a video on the Mexico stuff. Yeah, I'd have to read into it. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I don't know, man. I don't know if that a video like that would do well. But I can tell you that you should prep yourself on it because there's going to be strikes on Mexico, the cartels, and of course it's going to be a mess. Nobody's really going to know until, because they're just going to say it. Liberals will just say it creates a power vacuum for someone else. But what do you want us to do with Mexico? Mexico it's not safe to travel to Mexico. These cartels now, because of what happened, they're killing civilians, and it's like, well, they're going to start doing that. They got to be put down. That's what Trump's been threatening. Mexico is failed. Yeah, Trump has to intervene if you want to. I mean, or we could just let them, continue, I guess. But it becomes a problem. It's because it's a bordering country, as we've known in terms of. We would like them to be a more secure country. But there's so much cartel influence. It's like there has to be serious operations, maybe even reconnaissance, interior operations by spies to try and fix their government and the corruption. That's the thing. You see these bad countries, and the number one thing that gets them, it's actually governmental corruption. And I think it's in relation to, honestly, median IQ, honestly. Because it's very, very easy for countries. I mean, the US has a bunch of corruption as well, but there's always a standard that it meets to where it's still functioning properly. But corruption is just, oh, that's the number one thing that'll kill a government. That's the number one thing that'll kill a country is corruption. Mexico is a cartel's country. How do you take down the whole country? No, I agree with you. There'd have to be some type of crazy. I mean, it's not going to be Scheinbaum. They would need really a leader that's really militant, really right wing, and somehow. But the thing is the leaders that are bred in Mexico all have some allegiance to the cartel. That's how they're elected in the first place. So it's almost like there would have to be almost complete interference from the U.S. and completely restore their government somehow. It's you're right. I mean, it depends the intertwinement the cartels have with Mexico, but it's almost unfixable if they're that entwined, because anyone that gets elected is beholden to a degree to the cartel. Are the Bears moving to Hammond? I don't know. It's not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed. I think they're negotiating right now. They're probably negotiating with Arlington Heights. Bro, I mean, you're just spamming. You're gonna spam those, really? Don't do the emoji spam. Tucker Carlson. Didn't Tucker Carlson's what did he say about Vladimir Putin's a better leader than Biden or something, and liberals got angry about that? He said something like that. No, that dude's really not a spam poster. That was a spam is like multiple comments over and over again. I wouldn't really classify that too much as. I mean, it's a spam emoji, I guess. How big of a strike do you think it will be on Iran? I believe that the strikes are going to be targeting individuals and possibly also centrifuges. So it would be, I think it's going to be really precision if I had to guess, but they want the regime severely weakened. So that would be targeting individuals versus the nuclear sites. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny fight. I thought Floyd Mayweather was fighting Mike Tyson or something. I don't know, man. It's all a money grab with that when they're retired and stuff, and they just get money for it. I mean, I guess I guess the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was interesting just due to the age difference, but I don't know, man. All these fights where they come out of retirement, it's just a money grab. There was actually, the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight was massive. I remember that when I was younger. And they never live up to the expectation. But it's like UFC has taken over that realm now, it feels like. Do you think anyone gets thrown out of the State of the Union? Yeah, I think someone will because they'll talk about ICE or something. Someone's going to get thrown out. It'll probably be Al Smith again. Or Al Green. God, that guy is just. It'll probably be Al Green again with his cane, and then he'll try and file articles of impeachment like he did last year. This is the problem, though. If they end up winning the House, then they're going to be able to actually go forth with it. Right now, it's not going to get any traction. They file articles for impeachment of Trump, which I don't even. I mean, probably for crypto. Trump's done some Not so good things with crypto. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a beast. Your advice to young men on how to overcome lust. Well, I mean, if you get down to a lower body fat percent, well, that's not a that's no, you don't want to lower your testosterone. I would say you gotta try and avoid it. You gotta just I think Instagram's kind of a shit app for that type. Not much good stuff comes from Instagram. You're not gonna really grow as a person looking on Instagram. I'll tell you that much. But all the apps have it now. Yeah, Trump's going to have to announce tomorrow at the State of the Union he's removing Howard Lutnick from the administration, and that'll be interesting if he did that. At what price will you finally buy Bitcoin? I think I might buy Solana. Not so another safer coin, but maybe a little bit more upside than Bitcoin this next cycle. But look, if we can get Bitcoin under 50K, I mean, you got to say it's a great buy. Well, I don't know about a great buy, but you got to say it's a 4 or 5x for Bitcoin if it goes under 50. What is it at 65, 66? So it probably has two more drops to get under 50. I don't know if it will. The LooksMax Holocaust. I saw a little bit of an update on those guys having a LooksMaxing. I don't know. There's a website for it now. There's a LooksMax. There's a Mog website, dude. That's the thing I was thinking about, like MogCoin. Imagine MogCoin if it was a bull run. It would probably be at $10 billion market cap, but it's just getting destroyed. Even though, like, Mog is the most culturally relevant thing. It shows you how important liquidity is in the market. You'll never have an Instagram. Yeah, that's good. When vetting a girl is very easy. You look at her Instagram. If she's got a bunch of followers, it's not gonna happen. Women that use Snapchat, it's not gonna happen. There's some easy things you can vet. 45K is the Bitcoin bottom. Yeah, like 38 maybe, 38 to 40. I mean, nobody knows it exactly, but yeah, something around there. But that would be really good if we got that. I mean, I have fiat to put into it if that actually happens. But it's one of those things. It's like I don't want to get too greedy. That's why I want to go into Solana or maybe Bitcoin, at least with some of it to secure a profit. I just want to secure like a 5 or 6x. But I don't, with Bitcoin, it might be hard to get a 5 or 6x. With Solana, I think it'll be pretty easy. Do you have any updates on the Mexico situation? Well, they killed. I think the U.S. in coordination with Mexico killed the top cartel leader, and now it's a power vacuum, and the cartels are going around killing people in response. Unfortunately, and I think Trump's going to strike the cartels probably after the midterms, maybe before though. I don't know. Maybe after Iran. Staten Island got 30 inches of snow allegedly. That's going to destroy their infrastructure if they got 30 inches. That area really hasn't been hit with snow in forever. New York City area, because they're a little bit more south and they've had really mild winters, and this year they get nailed with cold, and now this crazy storm. And I mean, we got snow, but from a completely separate front, or not even think it was a front. I think it was lake effect, but they had this weird front that came up. It didn't cross the country. If it crossed the country, we would have gotten it. But they had like a weird front. I think it came up from the south or from the north or some shit. And that's how they got hammered with like 14, 16 inches. Mamdani is destroying NYC. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, with his policies, you just have to wait. You just have to wait, and we'll see what ends up happening. But with Mamdani, because of how kind of how his policies are a bit more radical, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think they're gonna age well at all. I think people will turn on Mamdani. It's like they turn on every New York City mayor. It's nothing new, but like because his policies are radical and it seems like everyone's taxes are going up and they're not happy. But I mean, you have to give it time. But if it's like this quasi fake socialism, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, with it, which is kind of all you can do. I mean, it's the financial capital of the world. You're not running socialist. You're not running a socialist government legitimately in New York City. So it's gonna. I think it'd be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out socialism. It's yeah. That's why I don't talk like that because it's gonna happen. But that's a bit ridiculous. Bongino is crying on Fox News. Yeah, he just cries because he says people criticize the administration too much. What's your Instagram? I think my Instagram is it's in my description of my overall channel. So you'd have to go probably over to the last tab on my channel where it says maybe it says something like description or something. I think the link is in there. I in my Twitter link and that the Instagram link should be in there as well. Thoughts on the UFO stuff and Elon's change of focus onto the moon instead of Mars? Yeah, I mean about the change of focus, I think the moon is it's a lot more doable in the micro picture. So you could do it in 2 or 3 years. Maybe that's why Mars you're not going to be able to have a manned mission until 2033 based on the orbits. That's so I mean and that's the other thing with Mars is are they actually going to go in 2033? Because it seems like a lot of this space travel is being pushed to the back burner. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I mean, we'd hear about it probably, in a few years if it happens. But um, the moon stuff. I mean, yeah, if they can build a moon base, I think it'd be a good thing for humanity to build a moon base like Griffin Station or something like that. I mean, that'd be sweet to see something. I don't know what the cost of it would be, but be a lot of money. Did you hear about the guy who broke into Mar-a-Lago? Yeah, is an Epstein fanatic apparently. Somebody that's obsessed with Epstein that thought Trump was hiding stuff and just serious mental problems. I mean, breaks into Mar-a-Lago. Trump's not even there. Immediately gets gunned down. Probably on the outskirts of the premises. Just gets gunned down apparently. Well, just some weird people, man. It's kind of similar look to Thomas Crooks, honestly. First man. What if the first man on Mars is black? Your reaction? DEI? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think they need to go to Mars. It would be good for humanity, but it's be a lot of money, I guess. Be a lot of money. But they're gonna do it. I mean, Mars is too close. They're just gonna do it for the hell of it, even if they just go for, they might terraform it, but there's not a big incentive to terraform Mars because it's not all that. Technically, it's livable, but there's big problems with Mars. You're talking about centuries to terraform it. Really, that's what it takes to terraform a planet is centuries, realistically. First man on Mars will probably be a woman. Now it'll be a four-person. It'll be like three men and one woman. I think that's how they do those missions now. I mean, I guess it depends who's leading at NASA. You know, Mars is pretty. Mars is in terms of the weather, it's unlivable and just not ideal. It's really hazy on Mars. It's you really can't see clearly. It's like there's constant smog almost on Mars. It's a lot of dust. The U.S. women's hockey team declined Trump's invitation. You got it. Oh, this was to the State of the Union. Yeah, well, you know what? They might say, well, because it was 2 days. It was 2 days notice or something. They might say that. You think we will strike after the State of the Union? Yeah, yeah. There's gonna be strikes. Well, Trump's probably gonna be like, well, if the State of the Union goes bad, I'll just do the strikes, and then people won't remember it. So it's probably something like, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, but it has to. I mean, it happens after the State of the Union. You mean like that? Like tomorrow night? I don't think. I don't think that. I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow night. What if we find oil on Mars? You'll find oil on Titan. You'll find oil lakes of oil on Titan. Oil will be. You got to try and extract it back to Earth, but oil will be worthless if you're able to do that from Titan with the amount of oil that it has. Yeah, I think it has to be pushed to Friday. I mean, that's really the only thing I can think of. It's because it has to happen, I think, on a Friday night, the way you structure it against the markets. But I don't think any, I mean, nobody really trusts any, you can't trust a single poll in anything. You got to use a composite. How did Trudeau pull Katy Perry? Justin, I mean, he's obviously an extremely well known guy. You don't think strikes on Iran are going to happen again? It could just be an attempt to shift the focus from the Epstein files. That's why all the UFO BS is. Yeah, I don't think so. I think this was always kind of going to happen. I mean, maybe the UFO stuff is probably trying to shift and obfuscate off of the Epstein stuff. Now you don't if you're in space for 5 years, they're gonna have the cryo chambers that you're gonna be able to go to sleep for prolonged periods when they develop that. That's why space travel. I mean, right now it's not realistic to do space travel because you're just aging doing nothing. But when they develop the cryopods, it'll be. And I think that's possible that they can develop something like that. Maybe in like 60 or 70 years. You just watched the trailer for Candace Owens' new series about Erica. You're joking. A new series? Hasn't she had like 50 episodes already about Erica Kirk? Now there's a new series. Bro, this grift is never ending. The grift that never ends. Just leave the people alone. How do even finding who finds it even fascinating? Like the stuff about Erica Kirk, I just don't know, man. Very early outlook on Buckeye season, good bad. You don't think Indiana could do it again? Yeah, no, Indiana's not going to repeat. And he is Ohio State is a very tough schedule. Ohio State is a very tough schedule, but I mean, 10-2, I would say. How does it benefit the U.S. to take out the regime? Well, because Iran is a enemy of the U.S. because they're allied with the Eastern powers that are the enemy to the U.S. So it would significantly weakening Iran helps the U.S. Yes, not as much as it helps Israel, and so that's the issue that people have. Did you watch the Tucker interview with Huckabee? Yeah, I saw some of it. He did go after Huckabee with some questions. I'll give him credit for that. You haven't consumed any politics since like October? Wow. That's crazy. I feel like it's almost impossible to fully avoid politics. Maybe it is. I almost envy you. That's interesting. Flights for South African refugees have been paused. Uh, Thoughts on BTC mining? Not profitable. Not profitable for any small guy. The only ones nobody's making money off mining now. The electricity output cost is higher than actually mining. You're not going to make shit off of Bitcoin mining if you're a normie, so it's not worth it. Yeah, and nobody's been able to make any real thing unless you have a crazy setup since like 2019, 2020. I mean, I guess because it's appreciated in value, but the mining itself is, with all the halvings that have happened. I mean, the block rewards are down, but also the competitiveness in terms of who you're mining against. You have to buy into a pool. Do you think Trump's crypto and Melania coin will eventually be what they'll get him on? Yeah, it gets a little bit. See, the thing is Trump technically launched that meme coin before it was inaugurated. So that was done before he officially became president. Now, I don't know where that puts them in terms of trying to say that he still used the position of power to enrich himself, which is undoubtedly what they're going to try and get him for. Um, there's some other things with the Trump family in relation to accepting crypto from foreign countries for certain things that could be a problem. The coins, I don't know. I mean, the Melania coin, I think it's maybe different because she's not the president, but USC football, I don't know. I'd have to look at their schedule. Can AI manipulate the crypto market for survival? What do you mean? Whales can manipulate the market. What do you mean by AI manipulate it? I mean, maybe AI bots buying and selling, but I don't know. Bondi is even bigger clown than Cash. Yeah, I think Bondi's worse than Cash, but it's close. I mean, Cash, they've messed some things up where in terms of what Cash Patel has said versus what there's a lot of inconsistent stuff, and I didn't think him celebrating was any problem or anything like that. Liberty Financial. The thing with Liberty Financial is technically it was not Trump. Trump uh, excused himself from being on the board of World Liberty Financial when he became president or before when he was president elect. So when that got launched, it was mainly launched under Eric and Don Jr. And it's also technically a utility asset. It's not a meme coin. And it's also tied to a stable coin that has serious funding. So I don't know. I mean, they could try and say, well, that's a legitimate asset. That wasn't even part of what Trump. It wasn't Trump who did that. It was his kid. It was his kids. Jimmy Dore speaking about Charlie Kirk on the way to the hospital, hanging out of. Really? He was hanging out of the car. Are you for or against autonomous? I don't. I'm not actually that huge into driving. I mean, I don't really like autonomous because I just don't trust it, and I'm also not. So the thing. This is the thing with the. For me, this is the problem that what it's going to be. You know, when I'm in a passenger in a car, I can't look at my phone. I get motion sickness. I get a headache from doing it. I could do it on a plane and stuff when you can't really tell you're moving, but when I'm in a car and I'm not driving, I'm in the passenger seat. I can't really look at my phone. So I don't really think the autonomous driving is going to help me too much because that's the whole thing. It's like you can do whatever you want while the robot drives, but I really can't. So I don't think it would really help me anyways. I mean, you could just listen to stuff, but you can do that anyways. Bro, this dude has like the same account from three. This is a joke. Oh, I might have hit the wrong person. No. Yeah, I know World Liberty Financial is partners with some big people. They can say it's a utility project, but I don't know. I mean, it's borderline. I don't know if that's what they would get Trump on. They say they get him for the Epstein files. I don't even know what for. Where are your mods? Not active. But I mean, that was something that I had to figure out. Anyways. Yeah, honestly, Mr. Creeper, I'm gonna make you a mod. But it doesn't even, you don't even really have to do anything. You can't look at your phone. Yeah, no, I can't look at my phone at all because I get motion sickness or something. I don't even know. Anakin needs to be a mod. Anakin moved on. I don't know to what though. You've been here before 100. Yeah, honestly, Juan, you can be next up. You can be next up. We don't even need mods. Like I just do the suspensions on people anyways. We would need a mod for the midterms. Mods for the midterms though, because that's when you get the liberals. When's the last time we had a liberal even I haven't even seen liberals join my chat. It's just people spamming. That's the only people that get removed. We must have used to. It must have been 2 or 3 liberals per night in 2024 we would have to ban. But it's, it's completely dried up. Bitcoin. BCH. What is Bitcoin Cash doing? Remember Bitcoin Cash? I think its all-time high is from in 2018. Don't sleep on BC2. If you need another mod, Big Bear Big Bear Productions. What's your opinion on the overall state of video games? Everything feels bland since Battle Royale. Yeah, video games and movies are down the exact same path. There's no creativity with them, and there's this malaise with them. But I'm not big into video games, so I know video games got captured by the DEI stuff, and maybe they're trying to get out of that. But I think video games will be brought back. We'll see how good GTA 6 is. Alyssa Liu. I mean, she's a cute girl. Big Back Productions. What was the one dude's name? Is something Productions. Just like you're calling yourself Productions. It's just weird. BC2 is gonna flip BTC. Boy, I'd be a billionaire if that happened. BC2, yeah, BC2 will flip BTC. I mean, it makes sense. It's younger. What's your opinion on dome stadiums? You feel like cold cities like Cleveland need them because of the weather? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of I mean, obviously for if you're attending the game, you like the dome. On TV, I think the domes are really boring. But for a fans attending them, yes, of course you would want a dome stadium in a cold weather climate. Is that a real headline on the women's? Yeah, that is a real headline apparently. What they'll say is well, it was 2 days notice or something because Trump invited the men's team. Well, you know what happened, and look, I think what happened is Trump. All right, it should be back. Here, let me read because this is gonna take forever. Yeah, I already answered. I think I answered. I think I answered that. Will GTA have a whole community of real online jobs and currency you can earn? You heard something like that was in the works, but could be. Yeah, I heard something about that too. I think they denied the fact that they would have a coin or something. There was potential that they would have their own. I mean, it would be interesting if they had their own crypto that would work within the game. Missed your response because of the lag. Is that a real headline on the woman's? Yeah, that is a real headline. Dude, I'm not going through all of that. You're kidding me. I literally spent a minute trying to explain that. Jedi Fallen Order? No, I never played that. I'm muted. I'm not muted. That's got to be it's a troll. You missed the response. I'm not doing that again, man. Not muted. It's impossible for it to be muted based on the fact that it shows the vocal. Oh, you had to refresh. Yeah, you got to refresh. Well, I didn't want to do it in all caps. You're getting drunk during the State of the Union. Dude, people are gonna lose their minds if it. Yeah, honestly, that's gonna be really bad. That'll be really ugly if my Wi-Fi struggles during the State of the Union. People would lose their shit. Big Back Productions, Regenesis Productions. Oh, it was on Top Chat. Every time Trump talks shit about the Democrats, take a shot. Yeah, it's gonna be constant bitching by Trump the entire time, let's be honest. But you know there's gonna be some type of fighting. There's gonna be a pod shot from the Democrats. They're probably gonna they're gonna say we want justice for Alex Preddy and Renee Good or whatever. Yeah, the Xboxes they're cooked. They're cooked. I guess they've been cooked for a while. Will any Supreme Court? Yeah, I think they are. I think the justices are going to be there. He invited them, or we'll see. I mean, maybe only a. I don't know if they'll all be there. We'll have to see. Dozens of Democrats are boycotting Trump's State of the Union. Yeah, but it doesn't even matter. They're going to boycott it. People are going to watch it either way. You mean like politicians not showing up? I mean, I feel like that would be better. It'd be more peaceful. Your dad told your French relatives that it's unsafe to visit because of ice. How do I prove otherwise? You're kidding. Your father told your relatives not to come because of ice. Well, tell him he's being ridiculous. He's overreacting to situations that people put themselves in and purposefully didn't comply with law enforcement. Well, tell your French relatives if they're going to be non-compliant to law enforcement, they might run into problems in the United States. But obviously, it's you're a normal functioning human. You're not gonna do anything that you're not gonna disobey lawful orders. Disney is actually funding a Stephen A. Smith campaign. Feels like they want to. Yeah, they're gonna fund Stephen A. Smith. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work out too well for Stephen A. Smith with the Democrats. Honestly, the Democrats are probably just gonna say he's a Republican because they want somebody more left wing than that. Trump brings up the Melania movie at the State of the Union. I mean, it's marketing, I guess. Yeah, that's a Rogan episode I would watch with Alex Jones. That would be a good one. Yeah, I saw the video of Gavin Newsom saying he relates to blacks because they can't read. I saw that. And he's trying to walk it back now. He's getting really angry. He's getting really protective of like against Sean Hannity. He's like, "Shut the fuck up. You didn't say anything when Trump posted a video depicting black people as apes. Fucking shut up." He got really pissy about it, Gavin Newsom. I don't think Gavin Newsom's nothing special. Let's be honest. You look at him. Who do you most want to win the primary in 2028? Vance or Rubio? You want Rubio? Yeah, but Rubio's obsessed with Rubio is very warhawkish. That's the problem with him. I think you have to go with Vance over Rubio if it comes down to either one of those two. I think Vance would be better would be the better option than Rubio, honestly. But I don't know if Rubio's gonna run. He probably will, but do you think Rubio is a neocon? He's like a neocon hybrid. I think he tries to appear. He's a little bit better, possibly than a neocon, but yeah, he still is very warhawkish. It seems like he's been really pushing Trump for these strikes against Iran too. Odds Russia Ukraine war ending during 2026 probably pretty low. Pretty low odds on that. I don't know what you're trying to give me a rate of. Thoughts on Rupert Lowe's restore Brit? I mean, I think it's great. I think it'd be great. We'll see. You worry about them splitting the vote between restore and reform, but I think it's definitely what they need in there. And he's running on a good platform, and it's no nonsense. It's the remigration. It's trying to restore the white culture in Great Britain. So yeah, I think it's great. We'll see if how it develops. And right now it's the honeymoon period for him, so he's gonna get a lot of praise. But reform has really gone rotten apparently, and I mean you could even see it with Farage and some of the things he said. Yeah, that was not Trump. That was an impersonator of Trump. That was not Trump that called into C-SPAN, and it was very obvious, by the way, to tell you if you didn't realize that was an impersonator, you could tell that that was not Trump. You could tell 100%. Reform UK has sold out to mass illegal immigration. I know. I don't know what happened to their party. I thought their party was pro remigration, but have they did they really turn? It does. I'm not sure what their messaging is exactly. It seems like they're kind of thrown off a little bit. Yeah, but that's any State of the Union ever. You're saying they're obviously they just praise their what they do. It's just propaganda. That's what a State of the Union is. You don't think Biden's State of the Union was predictable? I mean, come on. Calling out for war with Iran. Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna just say about Iran during it. If Trump proposes that Democrats pass SAVE Act with full support, GOP pass something that would guarantee Dreamers residency only. I don't know how many Dreamers are there right now in the U.S. What is their status? They're temporarily here. Yeah, you can't. The problem is if you guarantee them, a Democratic administration would just make them citizens. But I don't know how many Dreamers there are. What is the population? Did Biden just disappear after his term ended? Well, he disappeared, and then there was going to be this crazy book, and then they timed it to where they announced he had cancer right when this book came out that was dissing his campaign, the Jake Tapper book that was dissing his administration. You think I don't know if Vegas? I don't think Vegas will be that good for baseball. Vegas is kind of bad for sports, bro. It's just a transplant city. I mean, maybe it's good from a capitalistic sense, but for the actual sport. Over 600K DACA status. Hmm. Do you see a world where Mr. Beast runs for president? Yeah, he seems like the type. He seems like the personality type that would do that for sure. It wouldn't shock. I mean, if he's still culturally relevant, though, you gotta for YouTubers like that. We'll see if he stays relevant to be able to do it. But people claim they're leaving MAGA because of the Epstein files, even though the Democrats caused death through mass immigration. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, but also the Democrats were the ones that wanted to restrict the Epstein files from being released originally. I mean, that's all real when you look at the campaigning for 2024. Yeah, the Golden Knights have been successful. They have been. Super Action General, what's up, man? Super Action Productions, what's up? Regenesis Productions. Will Seattle ever? Now, I don't think they would risk Seattle hosting a Super Bowl. They're too obsessed with the controlled climate now. There's too many dome stadiums going up for Seattle to get a Super Bowl. You really like? Well, I appreciate that. You really like my videos about fascism and communism. Imperialists, mainly about Japan. Imperial Japan, you want a video on? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. I might decide to do more videos. It's just, those videos are just things that intrigue me, honestly. So I'm intrigued by fascism and communism mainly. So I don't know about some of the other ones, but maybe I'll do some of the other ideologies as well. Yeah, I don't think Columbus, Ohio is a fit for an NFL team at all because Ohio State kind of owns the city, and so it would always be second fiddle. I just don't think it works. I mean, in terms of population, it would work, but yeah, the only way I could see Columbus getting a team is it would be like the Bengals moving because they're not going to do three Ohio teams. I'll tell you that. The Bengals would move to Columbus, but again, it's like it's a Buckeye city, and it'd be second. The NFL team would be second fiddle. AL favorite to make the World Series. Yeah, I think the Yankees should make it. I agree with you. I'm tired of hearing about the Blue Jays. They're just an annoying team, honestly. Like it's just always annoying. People just root for the Blue Jays because they hate the Yankees, and I mean the AL is probably wide open. Maybe it's the Tigers. The Tigers had a major $7,000. Yeah, they get $7,000 for a social media post. If you have enough status, you can get that from Israel, or you get influence. If you can create influence, you can get a lot of money from people. Let's just be honest. I mean, a lot of money. Fascism, you don't think it's a right wing? It's right wing to the extreme. But yeah, in terms of like the generality of what right wing is, but if you extrapolate it and make it extreme, but the core of conservatism is obviously small government. That's obviously not what fascism is. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I think Cincinnati for sure is more of a baseball town. Yeah. Do you prefer what the NFL MLB do? Split Ohio under Cleveland, Cincinnati? Do you like what the NHL approach? Well, I mean, I mean it doesn't really matter either way to me. I mean, the NHL. I mean, hypothetically, you could put a team in Cleveland, I guess, but I was eating a Rice Krispie treat and I fucked up my mouth. It hurts. It's annoying. You're guessing Gavin Newsom gets elected? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Gavin Newsom. I'm starting to think Gavin Newsom may not make it out of the primaries for the Democrats. Create a poll who thinks the Save Act will pass. Well, I think most people say it will pass, but it's just more of hope than I don't know. I mean, maybe there'll be a compromise to get it passed. You like Rubio, but you would never vote for another Bush, lol, unless he wants to get involved in wars. The actual benefit to that actually benefit American people. Well, that's probably a very limited amount of wars that would actually benefit. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I appreciate the donation, but I think with Rubio, you have to understand he will be heavily involved in helping Israel. He does want a lot of military engagements in the Middle East, and he wants even more engagements in Latin America and the Caribbean islands. And maybe people like that. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem very good to me. But Rubio is getting a lot of hype because he's done all these jobs within the administration. But I'd say probably Vance over Rubio if they want to do something like that in the primary. But Vance has got to start really impressing me and do something. Vance has got to come out and do something. I don't know what it is, but it's not. It's you got to refresh if it's muted, I guess. Newsom is tall and charismatic. No, I know Newsom has those physical traits for sure. He does have the physical traits. I just don't think his speaking ability, the way his mannerisms, I don't see it. Maybe I'm being a hater. Do you think Carlson has ties to some form of intelligence? His obsessions with Qatar and Russia raises many eyebrows. You're no fan of Israel, but yeah, I mean, but that's the whole thing with him and Fuentes. I mean, Carlson and Fuentes, it's the same thing. They both hate Israel, so they're kind of nipping at each other. But yeah, Carlson has some clear ties to intelligence, but that's kind of a cop out to me. It's like all of these guys, any of these mainstream people has heavy ties to some form of intelligence. Let's be honest. So it's like I don't know, man. GOP needs to compromise to pass the an act that 70-80% of Americans support. They do not deserve to be reelected. Well, I mean, it comes down to, do you nuke the filibuster? I mean, it's a calculated risk, but yeah, they could pass it for sure. I mean, they technically have the votes, but there'd be the filibuster blocking it. You got to get out of the way. You got to somehow get 60 votes. Never get 60 votes, which is shocking with something that has 80% support. But 'Newsom is the furthest thing from an everyday man you could possibly imagine. 100%. That's why he tried to say he had a bad test score or whatever on the SAT. He's trying to be relatable, and it just doesn't come off good. .65% of people in the U.S. who earn over 400K or more are registered leftist Democrats. Yeah, and they all live in heavily white areas and then vote for immigrants. Amazing. But then the immigrants are not going to be going to their cities. I don't know, man. With Rupert Lowe, we have to see. You have to understand it's the honeymoon period. But even Reform had a really good period where people thought they were. We have to see how it plays out. But it looks good. I don't know. I mean, we'll also see the polling in terms of if they can beat out Reform. But there are some serious right wing movements in the UK. It seems like that country is changing, hopefully for the better. Yeah, there was gonna be a fun moment tomorrow because the hockey team's gonna be there. Newsom is trailing Harris. I don't put much stock into that. That's name recognition. People know Harris, and it's a lot of the black voters voting as a cohort just for Harris only. I don't think Harris is gonna win anything. I'd be shocked. I mean, electing Newsom is just, there's going to be people that vote Democrat just because they're Democrats. I mean, Newsom, I think, would struggle heavily in the Rust Belts. He might still be able to win if he wins Georgia, North Carolina, but I don't know. He was always talking the best when he was in Reform. Yeah, well, it's a little bit different when you're the head of a party. I mean, I know, but then because there is compromise that has to happen a lot of the times. You talk to a lot different type of people when you're actually the head, and so hopefully the compromise is not made to the point where there's offers to get money if you say X, Y, and Z, if you tone down rhetoric on this. So hopefully none of that happens. But I think with the remigration stuff, there's a huge movement in the UK for it. It's serious, more so in the UK than here. Think about that. What would you do if Taylor Swift became president? I mean, it'd be the most ridiculous thing. Come on, it would be an interesting time. Yeah, it's an interesting point on socialism. I don't think socialism will ever be successful anywhere in the United States because socialism versus capitalism. Anyone's just going to live in a capitalist society over a socialist society. Socialism tends to attract people that aren't necessarily productive members of society, we'll say, because it's based on equality and fairness, and no humans are competitive. That's not just in a sense of what everyone wants. Why is remigration so much more serious in the UK? There's more cohesion. They live right next to each other in the UK. It's more of a brotherhood than it is the United States. We live in suburbs. We have like a quarter acre, all of us. Well, I mean, I guess many of us have like a quarter acre. You know, you've got single family homes. People are detached from it. Those people live on top of it. They live on top of their invasion. The United States, we don't. Right, the UK is so much smaller. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that in terms of, arguing the ancestral homeland. I mean, I guess it's easier to argue, but it really, you look at the United States history, what the founding fathers said, it's very easy to argue in the United States for whites as well. Extremely easy, actually. Based on, I mean, just look at U.S. immigration policy up until 1965. Yeah, it'll probably be under 2 hours, honestly. But I mean, I get what you mean with the it's their I mean, for them, it's like it's insane that they would allow any of this. Like how can that even be? See, with the U.S., they do try and do the Native American argument, and basically what that does is that muddies the water, and that gives them standing to accept any type of immigrant and any type of culture, because technically, we they say whites don't have a right to it. Well, in the UK, they should have a right to it. So how are they being invaded like this? I mean, that's why, another reason for them that can help in terms of the remigration and just the stoppage of immigration. Well, I think with Israel, the Israel entwinement with the U.S. is just, they've just lost the information war Israel has. They've lost it to the younger generation. And at a certain point, I don't know how long it's going to take, probably a while, because there's so many fucking boomers still in the government. But at a certain point, there's a lot of people on both sides that are younger that hate Israel. And it's because, they view Israel as almost controlling the US, at least their foreign policy. For the toilets, you got to be trolling. Iron Scooby, have a good night, man. 20 Democrats stated they're going to be ditching Trump's address. I know, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, nobody's going to really even care. I mean, for them, it would be better if they went and tried to be obnoxious. Probably they'd get a better reaction from their party. Yeah, I did see Trump handing the keys to Netanyahu. That was pretty ironic. Come on, that's got to be a troll or something to do that. Handing him the keys to the White House. Did you see what Jake Shields posted? Did you see the AI? That was one of the weirdest things I've seen. Oh, that was weird. It was like this AI movie trailer that Netanyahu and Israel were really in charge, and it was all of the elites huddled in the White House, and the citizens coming together to question the elites, and they're like, somebody has taken over, and it's Netanyahu. Just a strange thing. Yeah, I think visiting Israel would be would be a it's a historic place. The toilets are a real problem on the aircraft carrier. Dude, what the hell? This has got to be a joke by the chat. Palestinians have more claim to their land than Jews. Well, it's biblical with Jews, but Palestinians and Jews, it becomes a problem when we fund one side because we're inserting ourselves into it, and then there's going to be a blowback. But an aircraft carrier got flooded with sewage. Hmm. Bullshit. They're saying a liberal is going to win governor. That's not going to happen. Yeah, Trump will intervene in Mexico. I don't know when, but possibly soon, honestly. Starting lineup action figures. Do you have any? No, I don't have any. Cash in trouble partying with the U.S. hockey team. No, it's a non story. Thoughts on XMR? Is that Monero? It's the best. Well, the Cold War is like the fucking definition of boring. I mean, I guess there's interesting things that happen in the Cold War, but it's literally a war that's at a standstill. That's not technically a war, but it's kind of. It's like the Cold War is like technically the definition of boring history. But I know some people like it. They find it fascinating, I guess. Yeah, I did see the Trump video, the Trump AI video. It's a boomer post. That's a wholesome boomer post of him beating up the Canadian players. There were some liberals that got angry over it. It's like, really? That's like the most mundane thing Trump could post is like a funny AI clip. I don't think Trump wants to fire anyone because it looks bad on his administration. That's why. Yeah, no, I agree, Juan. I think the cartels, you would have to almost do a full clean house, and it's just not. I mean, Mexico is a failed state because of the cartels, but you can't eliminate the cartels without major U.S. intervention. That would probably waste too much money for the American public to. So I don't think there's really any way you can do it. I mean, you could weaken them. you could weaken them, I guess. But how do you get them out of the politics? That's the problem. Yeah, a lot of them got angry because the U.S. won gold. They were rooting for Canada. The liberal Americans, of they there was a lot of them that had to have been rooting for Canada. Scheinbaum is in blatantly in bed with them. It's so ridiculous. Anyone that gets elected has to have the blessing of the cartel. No, I didn't. I didn't see that thing. The N word at Michael B. Jordan. I didn't see that. No, I think Cash Patel really actually was relatable with that. You know, he's a big hockey fan, and that was a big moment for him, I'm sure. So that actually made Cash Patel more likable when he had that reaction. So that's, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, this is beautiful that they built this. People don't like it. It's because of the I think it's because of the roof design, but I don't know. I think it looks sweet. It's a crazy. This took 140 years to build. I think in Spain. It's a crazy structure. It's a beautiful structure from the ground level. Hey, race war breaking out. Typical race war politics. I'm Irish. No, I didn't grow up Catholic. Yeah, I guess wearing the medal was kind of cringy. I don't think the celebration was bad. Dude, I think, I don't know how, it's completing this in 130, 140 years. There's no way, man. I'm all for massive construction projects, mega projects, giant, beautiful buildings. But man, if you're telling me 130 years, there's no way. They've had a lot of delays, though. They've had to have had a ton of delays. But, I've actually seen photos of this, and it's crazy how they'll put one of the cement pieces next to the other one. The one will be extremely weathered because I mean it's been taken, it's been installed for like 50 years, and then one going right next to it is brand new. So it's very interesting to see that type of construction because of how old of the project it is. I've seen photos in the 1910s of it being under construction, the early foundational work, and Patel, his girlfriend. Yeah, didn't she? She was suing people because of that. That's pretty insane to do that, honestly. But yeah, the girl, that whole thing is weird with Patel. You've been there, and they say the stone is hand carved by local masons. That's why it took so long. It's extremely detailed. The interior of it's insane. Maybe the Gothic Cathedral in New York City. I wonder how fast you could build a really nice cathedral nowadays. Maybe it's 5, 10 years, like a crazy one. But I don't know about something like that. Guess it depends how much resources you have. Mm-hmm. Your dog passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. Spare your fake fucking outrage, Sean. Dude, Sean Hannity. How do you get triggered by Sean Hannity? When are you bringing back Twin Towers videos? I don't know, man. There's not much to talk about. I was gonna do one on the interior temperature. That's really the only video I could think of, maybe doing a video on the interior temperature, like how hot it got inside the towers, but I don't think I've really gone over that in detail. Dude, Newsom, it is a crazy cortisol spike. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this live stream. I'll see you later. I'll see you. I guess tomorrow for the State of the Union. The State of the Union. That should be a bigger viewership one. I saw Josh Pate had on Trump. People got angry about it. Dude, how are there like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy how there are like actual liberal college football fans. It's just strange to me. It's just a weird crossover, honestly. It's a very weird crossover. Like there's like leftist college football fans. I guess that exists somehow.